Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kristen. I'm the maker behind DoSoKnits, and this is my little corner of the internet where I share with you guys how knitting has interwoven into my life. This video is all about January stats, my stats, how much yarn I got out and brought in, and I'm also sharing your stats. You guys submitted all of your projects on our Google form for the year of Stash KAL, and I will be sharing all of your stats with you guys today. So since this is my first stash update video of the year, I figured I would give a little rundown of how this video is going to be structured and what this is all for. So if you are just now stumbling onto this, the stash updates are for our year of Stash KAL that I am hosting this year in 2023. So for more information about the knit along, you can find it up here, and I have a video where I talk about what this knit along is, how you enter, all that kind of jazz. But in general, here's the breakdown of what this knit along is. Make projects using stash that you had from before 2023, finish those projects, submit them into the Google form where I gather some information. You get entered in for prizes with submitting to that Google form, and that's where your FOs go. Any type of fiber related project counts. Spinning, knitting, crocheting, weaving. I had someone submit a cross stitch project. If you consider it a fiber craft and it was in your stash from before 2023, it counts, you use it. We also have a Discord channel for free if you want to access it and talk to other people about your stash, your project, your finished objects. All of it's over there. You guys have been having a lot of fun in that. And then on Instagram, use the hashtag Year of Stash KAL for me to see, and I'm sharing those periodically throughout the year. In general, that's the rundown of the knit along. Use your stash, complete projects using stash that you had from before 2023. One question I've gotten a lot is, does fiber count? If I spin my fiber, does that count as new stash? And this is my general thought. I'm thinking of this as more of a, you're not buying stash for it to count. So if it was in your stash before 2023, it counts. If you had that fiber from before 2023, that's stashed fiber. If you then spin that fiber into yarn, that's still fiber from before 2023. So if you don't want to count it as new stash in for the year, don't. If you do, do. It's your stash, do with it what you like, but I'm seeing it as if you have a project and you want to be able to submit it and you think, oh, this fiber will be great if I spin it, so I'm going to spin this fiber to make yarn to then make this project, go for it. Just use your stash from before 2023 and it counts. Now that that is out of the way, I will tell you a little how I'm going to structure these videos. So at the beginning, I am going to share with you my stats, my personal stash that I got out with projects, how much I de-stash, and then what stash I bring in. For the bringing in portion, I'll be showing you the skeins that I brought. I have them here with me so I can show them, and then I will give you a grand total stash change for myself at the end of that section. Then I will be going into community stats, and for that I have tallied up some information from the Google form that you guys submitted into. I will share how many skeins and other stash stats that we got out as a community, and when I pull giveaway winners, that is where I will be doing that, and I am pulling a giveaway winner today, so make sure you stick around for that. But I hope you have something cozy to drink. I am still working through my cup of coffee this morning, and let's dive into my January stash stats. Okay, so for myself for January, I think I had a pretty productive month, but I do have some things in limbo, which I know will then help my February numbers. So in January, I finished 3 projects. Those projects were woven dishcloths, which I used 3 skeins of yarn and 224 grams. I finished my January Desert Vista Dye Works socks that used 1 skein of yarn and 54 grams. And then I finished my Wintry Mix socks, which also used 1 skein of yarn and 64 grams. So I'd like to say I count full skeins out. I take a skein of yarn from this, use it for a project that is one skein out of stash. That's how I count that. I don't count partials, but I am also recording my gram usage that I'm using each month. So this past month, I also made 10 Cozy Memories squares on my Cozy Memories blanket. Each of those squares takes about 3.5 grams, so that's another 35 grams out of stash. So that one, for example, is a stash project, so it doesn't use any full skeins from my stash, but I am still counting the grams. So all in all, my total used skeins for January was 5 skeins out of my stash, and I got out 377 grams, which is pretty good. That's a good net negative for the month, I think. I also destashed some yarn this previous month, so this is a different category. I destashed 9 skeins, and I got out 920 grams with those 9 skeins. So it was a total of 14 skeins out of my stash and 1,297 grams out. And now we can get to the fun part, the stash that I brought in this month. I will go ahead and tell you, I brought in more yarn than I got out this past month, but like I said, I have a couple sweater projects in limbo and a shawl in limbo, things that I'm planning to finish in February, and with those, hopefully I'll end up with a net negative in February, but we'll see how it goes. I brought in some really fun yarns for January, I think. So the first skeins that I brought in this month is 3 100-gram skeins from Life in the Long Grass. This is the twist sock base. It's an 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It is 400 yards and 100 grams. And I got in these 3 skeins this month. I really love these colors. I think, as you can tell, it really matches my shirt. It's kind of matching the color vibe that I'm going toward this year, and I'm hoping this could be 3 of 5 colors for a Vertices Unite shawl that I'm really, really itching to catch on, but I'm trying to be good. The only thing that's probably stopping me from starting a Vertices Unite right now is I have to figure out the other 2 colors. But these are my colors. This is Earth and Wave, a really pretty reddy kind of color. This is Ginger, a really turmeric-y yellow. And then this is Camel, a nice beigey. So this was 3 skeins that I got in fingering weight yarn. I know I'll find a use for it, and the tonals are just so pretty. So that's 3 skeins, 300 grams in at the beginning of the month. I also got in a couple skeins from a homespun house. This is Molly's non-superwash fingering base. It is 100% non-superwash merino. 100 grams is 470 meters. This is the color Twig, and I got this as a contrasting, coordinating color to go with my non-superwash advent that I got in 2022 for Molly's advent calendar. I had a non-superwash advent from Molly, and I wanted a contrasting color. At first I was doing the Anna Sedora shawl, which is a beautiful scrappy shawl, and I made the decision that I'm probably not a full scrappy person, but there is an option to do it with a main color. So I went ahead and ordered this really luscious deep brown for Molly to use as my coordinating color to go with that. Right now I don't know if I'll do my Anna Sedora shawl. I really might just do a striped raglan and then this be the collar and like ribbing, but we'll see. I don't know if I wasn't a scrappy shawl person. I don't know if that means I'll be a completely scrappy stripy sweater person. So we'll see, but these have a project slotted for them. Not 100% sure what project it is, but they do have a plan somewhat. So 200 grams, 2 skeins in. I then also had a pretty big order from Desert Vista Dye Works come in. At the end of 2022, I had a coupon that was expiring from me finishing the knit along last year, and I wanted to make sure I used that coupon before it expired, and to make sure that I had all 12 months covered for this upcoming year to have the knit along covered. Like I shouldn't have to buy any yarn for the knit along this year. I ended up getting more than I initially anticipated. So I have more than 12 for the year, but we'll see. We'll figure that out in 2024. But these are the skeins that I got from Desert Vista Dye Works. These all are on the Viso base, which is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. Okay, so this is my first color. This is Zombody's Going to Rhinebeck. And all of these are self-striping yarns. I think this one is going to be really fun. It's very fall inspired, so I'm excited to do this one in the fall. This one is You're a Mean One, obviously Grinch inspired. I'll probably end up making these near the holiday season. And then I have Wind in the Willows. I just really liked the colors on this one. I also got a color Slinky in as well. That came in with this batch of yarn. I've already started that sock for my February socks for Shane. So that was 4 100-gram skeins that I got in this order. And then Desert Vista Dye Works sent the exclusive yarns for finishing all 12 months from 2022. So that exclusive skein came as well. This is called Coyote Wearing Socks. It's the 2022 exclusive colorway. I am number 77 of 84. So 84 people got this exclusive skein. And this is on a Tweedy base. I love tweed, and this I find very exciting. So it's 84% superwash merino and 16% cotton / acrylic neps. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't look like there's any nylon in this. So this might be one that I definitely hold I have a contrasting color for heels, cuffs, and toes. I might hold it for that, or maybe this one will become like a really fun hat. Again, one of those things like, am I that much of a stripy person? But I really love these colors. It's like a magenta, green, orange, navy blue, purple. It's just really, really gorgeous. I love these. I absolutely love it. So that is 5 skeins in from Desert Vista Dye Works, another 100 grams. Well, 500 grams, 100 grams each. Okay, so then the next skeins that I brought in were for a specific project. I had some yarn in my stash that I wanted to use to make a sweater. I wanted to make the Easy V. And I thought that I had the contrasting colors in my stash to be able to just pull all from stash. However, the yarns that I was thinking about using, I didn't have the yardage for. So I went ahead and ordered some Dream State from Spin Cycle to knit the Easy V. So with that, that was 6 skeins of yarn into my stash in January, which is a good hefty amount. And in my Ravelry stash video, I actually made a mistake. I assumed they were 100 grams each, and that has turned out to not be the case. Each skein is about 60-ish grams. It kind of wavers depending. So I brought in 6 skeins of Spin Cycle from Spin State, and it came out to be about 400 grams of yarn. Now I have one skein that is still not caked up. This is the Salty Dog color. And so Spin Cycle, it's 150 yards, whereas the grams might alter slightly, but it's usually in that 60 to 70 gram range from what I could tell weighing each of these skeins after I caked them up. So it's 100% superwash American wool, and it's a worsted weight yarn. So this is the color Salty Dog, and I got 2 colors, or 2 skeins of each color that I got. And then I'll just show you my Easy V. This is a little sneak peek. In my last podcast episode, I had ripped back the color work to restart it and had only done about 1 row, and I have now finished the color work, and I'll just show you it now. So this are my Dream State Spin Cycle colors. So I'll have to hold it like this so I can see, but this red one is Rusted Rainbow. The blue is Shades of Earth, and then we have Salty Dog. and then you repeat them. So Rusted Rainbow, Shades of Earth, Salty Dog. So I have 6 skeins of Dream State that I brought in to work on this sweater. Obviously I have worked on it and the color work is done. Just a little sneak peek. I'm in love. I love this so much. So yeah, the brown was yarn that was already in my stash, and then I brought in this spin cycle. So this is the perfect kind of example project to where I'm still using stash from before 2023 by using this brown, but I'm also using yarn that I bought this year. So this would still count as an entry for the year of Stash KAL 2023 because you're using stash that you had before 2023. Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah, I'm in love with this. So this is the only one that I haven't cut into like the second skein so far. I had to do a little color management with the other colors, whereas Salty Dog is pretty, it's pretty uniform throughout. So 6 skeins of Dream State in and 400 grams for that. Definitely a good purchase. Do not regret that. Love that sweater. One thing I also wanted to show, this is going back to my Desert Vista Dye Works. In my package, Susan also sent me some little goodies. This came with my order. It's a little DPN cactus holder. It's super cute. Susan always throws in these little cute extras. So this is for DPNs. When you're knitting socks, you can put them flat and hold it in there. So that's pretty exciting. And then for the year-long knit-along, depending how many times you post on Instagram, you get some extra little goodies. So in here I got a little sticker from Susan. Last year's club was the coyote. I got a darning needle. These are my favorite kind, the ones with the bent tip. Love those. I got a pin, which I'll put on my bag with all my pins, and then a really, really cute stitch marker of the coyote. So you get one little extra for every 10 posts that you post on Instagram throughout the year. So I posted, most have been 40 times. So I got 4 little extras, and if you post 100 times throughout the year, you get like another free skein of yarn. So those were those little extras that I wanted to show you as well. And then the last skein of yarn that I got in for January was actually a little bit of a surprise. One of my patrons reached out to me and asked if she could send me some of her yarn to show and to give you guys some yarn for a giveaway. So that is what the giveaway is going to be at the end. I'll show that skein there. But this is from Craft Nut Yarns. It's Heather. And she sent me this color, Katniss Everdeen. It's also a fingering weight yarn. It's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, 463 yards for 100 grams. I'm very predictable, and I say that green is my favorite color, so this is the color she sent me because she knows I love green and that you all know that I love green. So this is a great gift. Thank you so much, Heather. I'll have her Etsy linked down below. It is Craft Nut Yarns. And this is the logo. And the yarn that I'm giving away from her, guys, it's so good. It's really good. So stick around for that. Okay, so with that, that is all the yarn that I brought in for January. So in total, I brought in 17 different skeins of yarn and 1,500 grams. So not that bad, especially considering I ordered the fingering weight and the Desert Vista Dye Works yarns in December to make sure that I had them. It's not that bad. I'm pretty excited about all of these purchases, and they're definitely fitting into my color palette that I'm building for myself for this year. So all in all, my stash change for January. I am at a +2 skeins for the year and plus 203 grams. That's really not that bad at all. Being up 2 skeins and 200 grams is totally something that I can work with. Like I said, I have a couple sweater works in progress that are holding many skeins of yarn. My forager I think is about 8 skeins because it's a fingering weight and mohair. I have a shawl that's about 6, and that Easy V is already at 7 skeins, almost to 8, because of all the changing of the yarns for the spin cycle yoke. So with all of that, I think February will be a nice dent, especially if I can finish my sweaters, which is one of my goals. So yeah, up 2 skeins for the year and 200 grams. So that is where my January is ending. Okay, so let's move into the community stash stats. What have you guys been working on, and where are we at community-wise using our stash? You guys have come out in full force for this knit along. Thank you so much. This is already probably the most successful knit along that I've hosted, and we have only just started. We're only one month in out of 12, so thank you guys so much for participating, and you guys are cranking out the projects. So let's take a little look at what projects you guys have been completing this month. So yeah, that's just a little snippet of all of the projects you guys have submitted. There were so many projects submitted. We had 74 entries for January. So just make sure you're following that hashtag on Instagram to see what everyone else is working on and just building this community of what we're doing. But I wanted to give you guys some stats from this Google form and what you guys have submitted. So we had 74 projects, different entries submitted in January. We had 90.9% knitting projects, 7.3% crochet projects, and 1.8% cross-stitch projects. So we're living in mostly knitting, but we have some crocheting and some cross-stitching too. The top 3 categories for projects are socks. 32% of you submitted projects for socks. We have a good amount of hats. 17% were hat projects. And then the third category is 13% being home items. So socks, hats, and home items. Lots of small projects with those socks and hats, and I imagine lots of bigger blankets and things with those home items. You guys are doing amazing. So let's talk about skeins out. So all in all, skeins out for January was 163.5 skeins. That's a ton. That's a lot. The average skein per entry was about 2.6 skeins per project. So that's pretty good. You guys are doing more than one skein per project. Mini skeins. We had 115 mini skeins out. That's a ton. That's a ton of those little tiny mini scraps. So then grams. The total grams we got out as a community was 14,156 grams, with an average project using 211 grams total. So that's amazing, guys. Great job. I love seeing what you guys are working on, and I hope you liked that little slideshow of projects. So I did mention I was going to be pulling a giveaway winner for January for the knit along so far, and so Heather from Craftnet Yarns donated a skein of yarn, and I'll show it to you now. This is called Old Fashioned. Again, it's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's 100 grams fingering weight yarn, and this is the sock set. So the mini is 92 yards, 20 grams, and it's called Just Red. So Old Fashioned and Just Red. Isn't this gorgeous? So I used a random number generator going through all of the entries. We had 74 different responses for January, and I used my phone to do a random number generator, and the number was number 10. So I went to my spreadsheet that connects to the Google form, and the 10th entry was for Shauna and her Pierre shawl. Shauna used 4 skeins of yarn for this shawl and 371 grams, and I've heard such good things about the Pierre shawl. I bet it was amazing to knit, and it's so gorgeous. So Shauna, please make sure you reach out to me via my email, which is linked down below, or you can message me on Ravelry. Just let me know that you are the winner, and we will get this skein of yarn shipped out to you. Thank you so much for participating, and thank you everyone who submitted projects for January. Make sure you're still entering all those projects as we go. I will continue to do stash updates or stash stats updates for the community every month, in addition to my own stash stats updates. That is hard to say. Try to say that 3 times fast. And we'll see how many skeins and grams we can get out as a community throughout the year. So just make sure you keep submitting those projects. And thank you guys just so much for making this successful. I'm so thrilled with the response that we have. So thank you so much. And I hope you guys are having fun. And with that, I have probably talked enough about yarn that we've brought in and projects that we've finished. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like and a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss future content, make sure that you subscribe. And if you know someone that also wants to use their stash this year, let them know about this knit along. Let them know, let's grow this community and see how much stash we can use in 2023. So, as always, I hope you guys have put a little bit of love into every stitch you're making this month and while watching this video. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys again very soon. Have a lovely day.